Happy Wednesday, everyone. It is hump day. Really quick, this is just serving as an inspirational, motivational little tidbit halfway through your Wednesday today. But remember why you started. Whatever that is and however you want to define that is on you. But remember how you started, the reason why you started, and what you want to achieve. But learn to love the journey. A lot of us are so eager to get to the end goal that we forget to enjoy the people and the experiences while we're getting there. And I'm learning myself to just love the journey. Going through school, I was so ready to finish school, not only for two reasons. One, I was supposed to originally graduate in 2000. That's it. I was supposed to have been done. I was ready to finish school. I was about to be, 29? I mean, I graduated with my bachelor's in 27. Yeah, I was about to be 30 years old. So I was just like, I'm done. I'm ready for this. Like, there's no reason why I should still be going to school. I'm ready to this next chapter in my life. So I flew by it. Like, I don't remember much of anything. It was just like, okay, what's next? What's next? How many classes do I need? Do this and do that. I didn't enjoy any of that. So I didn't utilize that experience the way that I could have. And do I regret it? Yes, because the connections and networking that I could have used during my time in school, I just didn't. So it's like when I got out of school, when I was done, things were a little bit harder because I didn't even have the whole alumni thing. Like, I don't even participate in any of that because I don't even know anyone, because my goal was just to finish. It wasn't to connect with people. It wasn't to do any of those things. So now I heavily rely on the relationships that I'm building at work currently. But how easy would it have been if I was able to make those connections while I was in school? But anyway, I can tell you guys this story. I kind of lost sight of my reasons, what I wanted to achieve. Never losing sight of what the end goal was, like how I wanted the future to look. But I did forget how important the present is in enjoying every opportunity to spend time with my kids, to nurture and create this unbiased, like, safe space in my home for them to feel like they can come to me. Because one thing I have noticed when it comes to Black boys, okay, and how many ladies, raise your hand if you've dealt with the man who can't be in. How many of you? I have. More than once. Emotionally unavailable man. And we think that this is the standard. We think that, this is just what it is. This is just what the Black man plight is in America. But, I found myself kind of repeating those cycles subconsciously. I remember it's like it was yesterday. My oldest son, he was about 4 or 5. And he started crying because his feelings were hurt. I don't remember the reason on why his feelings was hurt. But I remember he started crying, and immediately, without even thinking about it, I said, "You better stop crying like a little girl. Suck that shit up." That's exactly what I said to him. And then at the same time, like immediately after I made that statement, I thought about it. Like, wait a minute. I don't mean that, because I know exactly what it is to deal with the grown version of the man who's been told constantly since he was a child to shut up, stop acting like a girl. I know exactly what that is, of being with a man who can't tell you how he feels. The only way he can express emotion is through anger, because that's the only thing that's validated. You can't express discernment. You can't express any other emotion. I mean, to the point where it's almost seen as weak to be happy as a Black man. And I'm going to get a disclaimer. Of course, this isn't everybody. I'm talking about my experiences, the things I've dealt with. Like, after that situation happened, I thought about it and I apologized immediately. And I told him, I didn't mean that. It's okay for him to express his emotions however he needs to do it. That's fine. And I will never tell him again to shelter or suppress those emotions again. And so now here I am. He's 11 now, and he's very expressive when it comes to how he feels now. he's a child still, you know what I mean? So a lot of it is he's in this space where I'm still establishing those boundaries. So he, you know, I know you've heard, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. The how he says it generally doesn't get the message across. So right now I'm in the process of teaching him that tone is everything. It's everything. It completely changes the delivery of your words, of what you're trying to express. So I said all of that to say my children are the reason for it. One thing I was adamant about when I started having children, and it was very early. Honestly, it wasn't planned. However, I refused to repeat any of the cycles, and this was before I even thought about having children. I remember a situation when I was a child where the lights were cut. The lights were off, which obviously meant that there was no heat in the house at the time. And my mother was using the oven to heat up the house. And I remember looking at it and I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, what's going on? And she said, the lights got cut off and this is how we have to heat up the house. Like, I don't really remember how it worked or how, like, I think gas was separate. All I know is that the heat was off and we were using the stove to heat it up. Again, I was young. I don't know how it worked back then. It wasn't like it was explained to me. So either way, I remember looking in that situation, inside that oven, looking at those bars, the red bars that heat up, the heat source, and like, wow, okay, so I can never let this happen. When I'm able to control my circumstances, this can never be a thing. I can never go through this. And so when I started having children, it reiterated that point for me. I don't want them to ever operate in a space of scarcity, ever. I'm still unlearning. I'm 31. I'm still unlearning how to unpack and retrain my brain from a space of coming from a place of abundance instead of scarcity. It's hard. And I've had these opportunities to make this money and leverage my income, triple my income. I wasn't ready because I still had that scarcity mindset. And so things happened as they did, but how they needed to happen, because now I'm coming from a place of abundance. My mindset is shifting. I'm understanding that abundance is a 360 thing. It's not just defined by what I own, the materialistic things. It's abundance in wealth. It's abundance in health. It's abundance in mindset. It's abundance in how free my children are, how innocent they are. They haven't had to deal with the hardships that we had to deal with growing up. They haven't had to come from a place of like this tough exterior. Like I just find myself looking and watching them in like awe. Just watching them just play in their natural habitat and watch their imagination just create this whole other world, this whole other reality. And I'm just like, this is it. This is why I'm doing it. I don't want them to understand the hardships of the world, the cruelty. I want them to know, to be aware of what's out there, but not have to go through it themselves in order for them to understand. I want them to have the ability to not have any restrictions of what they want to do, whether it's graphic design, engineering, the president of the United States, who knows? It doesn't matter. I just don't want them to have any restrictions. I want to be able to provide them with a choice. And it's like, yes, we all have our choices, right? And it's like, even if we come from a place of scarcity, even if we had to grow up with things or without, we have a choice, right? But the resources to accomplish the things that you want to do is hard. You come and you hit all of these hurdles. Like, I've hit so many roadblocks. Like, I don't want them to have to go through that. Obviously, when you become a parent, I'm 100% sure that most parents' goals are to ensure that their children don't have to go through the same things they've gone through, and they don't make the same mistakes that you've made as a child growing up into your adult life. You want to make sure that you're creating the path of least resistance. But, I want them to have the experiences I didn't have. I didn't even travel outside my own state until I was 18 years old. They've already beat me there. I just want them to immerse with so many different experiences that they understand that the world is their oyster. And yes, it's harder being a Black person in this country, but who's to say they have to choose to stay here? You know what I mean? I want to give them so much opportunity to experience so many different things that if they decide that this is where they reside, it's because this is their choice, not because they don't feel like they don't have an option. And so, asking myself today, like, what is the reason? Get back to the reason, because I did get distracted. Life did happen, and I did want to be out here living my best life and being in the little city girls and doing all of those things. I did, and it was fun. I ain't gonna act like I ain't have fun. I had a ball. But now that I've had the experience, I'm good. What my definition of living my best life has shifted. Before it was, turn up, partying in the clubs, getting dressed up. Like, I love dressing up. I love it, and I still do. But now, instead of doing I just don't find fun in the things that I find fun. The things that I found fun before has changed into a different thing. So now I'm more into like being physical, outdoors, like hiking and going on trails and biking and things like that's where I'm trying to do it now. And those are the things that I can include my children in. Before, I was a young parent, you guys. I started having kids at 19 years old. All of this responsibility hit me all at once. And trying to figure life out at the same time as trying to raise another human, it was too much, and I needed an escape. And so all of what I found fun in was things that I fun in did not include my children. So what would be the things that wouldn't include a child? Nightlife. So that was where it was. Just so I could kind of, just get to know me. I didn't even know who I was. Like, I didn't even know who I was. I was defined by me being a mother. I was defined by me being a wife. I didn't have my own identity. So I think everything happened as it should, everything's happened when it does, and everything is a reason for everything. And I wholeheartedly believe in this. And so just know your reason, you guys. Know your reason, get back to that reason, and then continue and be in the present, but never lose sight of what you're trying to get accomplished. Because if you don't lose sight, you laser focus on the things that you want, you're going to achieve it. And there's nothing or no one that can destroy